Minglawa and welcome to Myanmar Today. I am Henry Zin with the latest news and reports from around Myanmar. Hluttaw approved Amendment Committee's report. Myanmar Unicode migration. Books and literature and current generation. ASEAN Food Festival 2019. Before we get to the reports, we've got some important local news for you today. President Win Myint held a meeting with the Central Committee for Drug Abuse Control, headed by its chairman, Lieutenant General Josue, the Union Minister for Home Affairs at the Presidential Palace on Saturday. Lieutenant General Josue presented a number of progress reports on drug control activities. The reports include an update on the work performed by the Central Committee, its 10 working groups, and the Drug Activity Special Complaint Department. It also covered issues of drug abuse and confiscation of illegal drugs and their precursors, and sometimes containing ammunition, and the drug trafficking routes on land and sea, including the recent changes in their routes. The Union Minister also talked on amendments to the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Law and its related bylaw, and handover of youth to the juvenile rehabilitation centers run by the Ministry of Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement. It was followed by CCDAC's Joint Secretary, Police Brigadier General Win Myint, explaining the progress of controlling drug abuse and the difficulties it presented. Vice President Henry Zin visited flood-hit areas in Mun State on Sunday to lend encouragement to rescue teams and provide aid to flood victims in Molamyai and Ye townships. The Vice President visited the flood victims of the 500-bed People's Hospital in Molamyai, Mun State, on Sunday morning during his inspection tour to the natural disaster-affected areas in Mun State. The Vice President and party also presented cash awards to the Damodar personnel of local command and the staff of Mun State's Road Transport Administration Department before they met with the local people who were taking shelter in Ye Township Sports Stadium. The Vice President also pledged the government will provide boats for rescue work and healthcare services in Ye Township. He distributed rice to the flood victims and advised the people to take care of their health while they are residing at the shelter. The Vice President and party then proceeded to the temporary shelters for flood victims at the Ananda Janata Balinasu Pagoda compound in Ye Township to present cash aid. Union Minister for Information Dr. Myint inspected the Information and Public Relations Department, Township Office and Library in Taungdwingyi on Saturday. At the Taungdwingyi Township IPRD office, the Union Minister cordially met with Pitu Hluttaw, Representative Min Thay, and book club members and discussed their support and assistance in conducting regular monthly reading circle and public talk circles. The Union Minister then inspected the children reading room, presented toys to the children, observed the displays in the library and mini museum, and provided frank discussion and instructions. And that's all with the local news. Our reporter Agacho brings us the first report. Hluttaw approved the report on the constitutional amendment submitted by the 45-member Joint Committee. The approval was confirmed at the Hluttaw's 13th regular session on Friday. Agacho gives us the details.
Hluttaw approved the report on the constitution amendment submitted by the 45-member Joint Committee. The approval was confirmed at Hluttaw's 13th regular session on Friday. In an attempt to carry out constitutional amendment, a joint committee was formed in late January. The 45-member Joint Committee was formed to submit a report on the constitutional amendment. Speaker of Hluttaw, U Tikomyat said,
Myanmarနိုင်ငံတော်ဖွဲ့စည်းပုံအခြေခံဥပဒေ2008ခုနှစ်ပြင်ဆင်ရေးပူးပေါင်းကော်မတီရဲ့အစီရင်ခံစာနဲ့စတင်ပြီးလွှတ်တော်ကိုယ်စားလှယ်များရဲ့ဆွေးနွေးခြင်းအစီအစဉ်ကို30ရက်9လ2019ရက်နဲ့
Hluttaw representatives discussed the report on the amendment of 2008 Constitution submitted by the Joint Committee on the Constitutional Amendment on 30th July 2019 and 1st August 2019. If the committee has any points to raise concerning the comments and discussion by the Hluttaw representatives, you are invited for the discussion.
The proposed amendments fall into three main areas. First, to limit the president's executive power in the regions and ethnic states, as well as in the judicial system. Second, to decentralize state power by granting a degree of autonomy to parliaments in the regions and states, allowing them to elect their own chief ministers and giving them greater decision-making power rather than taking instructions from Naypyidaw. Beyond these main goals, there are some other interesting proposals, such as changing the current national flag to better reflect the country's aspirations since independence. The report proposing 114 amendments to the Constitution was submitted to the Assembly on July 15th. The Joint Committee's report listed over 3,700 points for amendment, deletion, and insertion of the articles in the Constitution. About 40 Hluttaw representatives presented their discussion, highlighting different opinions over the 2 long debating sessions on the report. Afterwards, Hluttaw invited the Joint Committee to respond to the comments by the Hluttaw representatives. U Tuntun Hain, Chairman of Joint Committee on Constitutional Amendment, said,
2008 ခုနှစ်ဖွဲ့စည်းပုံအခြေခံဥပဒေပြင်ဆင်ရေးပူးပေါင်းကော်မတီရဲ့လေးလာတွေ့ရှိချက်နှင့်သဘောထားမှတ်ချက်အစီရင်ခံစာကို
The Joint Committee submitted the report on the constitutional amendment on 12th of July. 41 Hluttaw representatives openly discussed the report on July 31st and 1st of August in Pidangsu Hluttaw. We could categorize the comments and discussion into 3 types: A. Agree, B. Disagree, C. Suggestion. On the report on the constitutional amendment, the Hluttaw representatives provided detailed and in-depth explanation on their points.
Article 59D is also among those most criticized by the public. Laying out the qualifications of the president and the vice presidents, it states that they shall be well acquainted with the affairs of the Union, such as political, administrative, economic, and military issues. The NLD suggests changing the word military to security in order to enable a president to be elected without such a qualification. Article 14 renders the Constitution essentially undemocratic, as it guarantees that 25% of the seats in all parliaments should be held by Damodar appointees nominated by the Commander-in-Chief. Pidangsu Hluttaw took a vote on Friday, and the result goes, out of about 600 Hluttaw representatives, 401 approved and 197 disapproved of the report. Thus, Pidangsu Hluttaw confirmed the approval of the report on the constitutional amendment submitted by the 45-member Joint Committee. This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on Hluttaw, which approved Amendment Committee's report. We're going to take a look at the weather conditions now in Myanmar. In Yangon, it's going to be cloudy, a morning thunderstorm in parts of the area, then a couple of thunderstorms around in the morning, but there'll be plenty of clouds and showers or thunderstorms around at night. The daily outlook is around 32 degrees Celsius high, but it's going to feel like 38 degrees Celsius. There's a 65% chance of rain for the day. In Naypyidaw, it's going to be mostly cloudy, a thunderstorm in spots in the morning, then a couple of thunderstorms around. There'll be plenty of clouds and a little rain at night. The daily outlook is around 31 degrees Celsius high, but it feels like 36 degrees Celsius, 62% chance of rain for the day. In Mandalay, it's also going to be cloudy, a shower or thunderstorm in the area during the day, and there'll probably be plenty of clouds, occasional rain and drizzle late at night. The daily outlook is around 33 degrees Celsius high, but it's going to feel like 37 degrees Celsius, 40% chance of rain for the day. Stay with us as David Tanner brings us the second report, and we'll take a look at the stocks and currency exchange rates right after that. To migrate the Unicode font, which is a standard for most of the countries in the world and is a national standard for Myanmar in font system as well, as led by Myanmar Computer Federation, there has been a lot of improvement throughout the process. Content providers also play a big role in using an appropriate and standard font to be able to ensure that everyone in Myanmar can easily access it. David Tanner has more information on that.
Unicode is an entirely new idea in setting up binary codes for text or script characters, officially called the Unicode Worldwide Character Standard. It is a system for the interchange, processing, and display of the written text of the diverse languages of the modern world. It also supports many classical and historical texts in a number of languages. With that being said, let's hear out the detail of the event from General Secretary of MCF, Myanmar Computer Federation, Hluttaw.
In Myanmar, there is a new Myanmar Unicode font standard system that we have showcased. As some might know, that Unicode is the world-renowned system, and most of the countries in the world has been accepting and using it as their standard font system. So that is why in that system, we're trying to be able to not only for Myanmar alphabet and language, we also want all other major ethnic groups' alphabets to be seamlessly usable for people who are gonna use it in a wide range of things. For example, like news company, media, content creators, and movie industry, etc.
One has this movement for the change Unicode has been started. Well, let's find out.
For us,
Myanmar Computer Federation, we have been promoting the Unicode system to the public and each of the sector in every way we can for a long time already. But as we have been doing meeting and other necessary steps, we have not been able to progress massively. But around February this year, Myanmar Standardizing Council has been confirmed Unicode Myanmar font to be a national standard for the country in font system, and around April, the government sector started to use Myanmar Unicode together. The only thing that has left to yet change will be the private sectors and the public. As we have been using fonts which are not Unicode, we have been adapting that and might have some difficulties in some cases to fully adapt Unicode for some people and some private sector. That is why we have to solve those problems as soon as we can as MCF, and we're trying to solve by doing this kind of meeting with private sectors and media.
What is the reason and the benefits for Myanmar to be using Unicode system? Let's hear it out in two parts.
The first reason why we agree and are promoting Unicode is that in other countries, Unicode is the standard for them. When we travel another country for whatever reason, we can just read it by not converting with anything else. And if we have the latest update in Unicode system. Now that we are not using the Unicode system, the problem is that most of the language alphabets are not appearing correctly, and that's the biggest problem when we try to make Myanmar language noticeable and recognizable in international standards. Another reason to change Unicode will be in cases like machine and digital devices in which we have to program. For example, Google, Facebook, and other software which have been using Unicode will be more accessible. If it's not Unicode, the difficulty is really massive while converting stuffs. That is why Myanmar might lag behind in the updates and other essential security patches late than compared to other countries which use Unicode system as standard. And when we search in Unicode system, it is way more easier, for example, in sorting of the Changyan and etc. So and while we want to search alphabetically and type it wherever we want, it becomes a problem with other existing fonts which are not Unicode. So those are some of the general reasons for adapting Unicode other than other fonts as a standard.
Reporter David Tanner, reporting from Myanmar International Radio, signing out for now.
That's a report on Myanmar Unicode migration. Let's take a look at the currency rates from Myanmar Central Bank. $1 is at 1,508 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 213 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,688 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,827 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,090 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 360 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 49 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,496. Silver is at $16, and Brent crude oil is at $54. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI remains at 11,500. MTSH went up 100 at 3,500. MCB went up 200 at 8,200. FPB remains at 26,000. TMH dropped 50 at 2,900. That's the information on currency rates and Yangon Stock Exchange. You're still with us on MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can visit our website at miradio.com.mm and listen to our radio programs live on the website. If you're on FM, catch us on 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. You can also download MI Radio app on both iOS and Android devices so you can listen to our radio programs from anywhere in the world. Let's move on to the next report. Books and the new generation might seem a little bit separated compared to the older generation before all kinds of social media, entertainment, and more accessible edutainment strove up dramatically. But is it just a general estimation of the overall situation, or is it really a fact? Our reporter David Tanner finds out more in his report.
With the social media thriving rapidly in Myanmar, with all the telecommunication companies striving forward, the physical literature sector has been slowly descending these days. But the love for a physical book reading platform has never been fade away, fortunately for some of the people. With that being said, let's hear out from one of the representatives of the Seiku Chocho for the summary of this book sales with a huge discount for what kind of genre mostly consists at this time.
I
am Ko Luen Myin, the editor of Seiku Chocho Literature. This year, we are focusing on fictional book. There will be about 40 books for a variety of fictional book. 40 books about poems and novels that were written by passed away legendary writers will be about 20 books as well, and 20 books from the current writers who are trendy, respectively.
I've also asked him for his perspective with the youth and physical book reading sector. Let's find out.
There are a group of youths who actually read books, as you can see as a youth too as well. There may be other social media and online media platforms taking over physical books, but it's not capable physically and be passionate as much as the physical copy of the book you love. Readers of print books absorb and remember more of the plot than readers of the books do. According to a study that was presented in Italy in 2014. In an earlier study, print readers also scored higher in other areas, such as empathy, immersion in the book, and understanding of the narrative.
What kind of genre are trendy for now with the book reading sector these days? We will be finding out from one of the editors of Seiku Chocho as well.
My name is Pidui Han, and I'm part of the editor group of Seiku Chocho Literature. These days, the famous genre around the book readers may be the motivational and the educational books. And another genre may be the novel, which was written by legendary writers. And one of the genres that is blooming these days is translated books. And there is a group of people who just read famous translated books. Most of the books like motivational books and tutorial translated books seem to do well with most of the book readers in Yangon.
Let's also find out for current circumstances with books and the era, and how it goes on hand in hand.
Fast forward to now, there are even more things that keep people away from books, even academic books. Now you have these guys like computer, internet, games, smartphones and tablets, music players, and this made people substitute book with Facebook, Instagram, and some more. So as a consequence, people can no longer write properly. Official emails are no longer formal, and abbreviations and emojis have taken over instant messages. Remove the autocorrect from a phone and you'll be shocked to see how many people can't spell words correctly. Yes, even Myanmar language, which is our mother tongue.
In the book sale, I have also interviewed one of the book lovers for her perspective with books and people with this generation.
Of the trends we found, the pronounced decline in reading is likely to have the biggest negative impact. Reading books and longer articles is one of the best ways to learn how to think critically, understand complex issues, and separate fact from fiction. It's crucial for being an informed voter, an involved citizen, a successful college student, and a productive employee. If print starts to die, a lot will go with it. That's why I want to encourage the later generation to keep up the tradition of reading book and be passionate about it. I know it can be forced, but you never know the thing that you haven't tried yet, right? So why not try it out?
Reporter David Tanner, reporting from Myanmar International Radio, signing out for now.
That's a report on books and literature and current generation. Well, last but not least, Loom brings us the last report. Myanmar is going to celebrate ASEAN Food Festival 2019 with a theme, Modern Traditional Design Base. With the guidance from Ministry of Hotels and Tourism and Mandalay Regional Government, the festival will be in Mandalay for 2 days this weekend. Loom gives us more information.
With the support from Ministry of Hotels and Tourism and Mandalay Regional Government, ASEAN Food Festival 2019 will be taking place in Mandalay. The event will hold at Mandalay Convention Center for 2 days on August 17 and 18. Now, let's find out the support of one of the ASEAN countries. Ms. Sylvia Marsi, First Secretary for Information and Socio-Cultural Affairs, Indonesian Embassy said, they strongly encourage Myanmar to do this kind of food festival.
Actually, we highly support the event, but we wish all the success because Myanmar also introduced so many specialties from the different zone. I noticed there from Cayenne, from even Rakhine, also Yangon. So I wish event would be successful and more food from Yangon, from Myanmar, would be more known to international people. So I really hope it would be very, very successful.
Ms. Sylvia Marsi further explained the similarity and differences of Myanmar and Indonesian foods.
They're actually quite similar, but in certain tastes, there's a bit difference. For example, Myanmar people love sour food, right? In Indonesia, they usually savory, salty, and sweet. And but usually the ingredients, the type, how you cook it, it's quite similar. But only because Myanmar more to the sour side and a bit more oily. Indonesian food, sweet and savory mostly.
Following the festival, Myanmar Chef Association will be one of the food demonstrators. So let's find out more from Oliver Isodet, Chairman of Myanmar Chef Association.
Myanmar Chef Association will bring all the chapters from all over Myanmar, all the chefs to Mandalay. We will have chefs from Rakhine State, we have chefs from Naypyidaw, chefs from Bagan, chefs from Yangon and Irrawaddy joining this event, and chefs from Shan State to make it a most diverse culinary attraction to the audience and to show the Myanmar ethnic food. We will show this Myanmar Rakhine food, nice, spicy, fresh and healthy. Our Naypyidaw chefs will do Myanmar fine dining, Myanmar traditional food plated as a fine dining. As addition, Myanmar Chef is standing very much and is celebrating zero plastic on all our cookings. All our giveaway is with natural Myanmar products. We stand for zero food waste, where we change normal natural food waste in the kitchen into carbon-rich soil through a bokashi system. We want to promote zero hunger. We want to bring people together through food, as a round table is always a peaceful gathering.
Now, one of the residents from Mandalay, Ms. Goyi Ajo, expressed her opinion on the festival.
It's great. Mandalay will be the host for ASEAN Food Festival 2019. So not only ASEAN members, it's ASEAN plus 4. Another powerhouse countries like Korea, Japan, China, and India will be joining too. It's ASEAN plus 4. So Mandalay will be beneficial from this. Of course, accommodation, the souvenirs, everything will be going to beneficial Mandalay. So it's very great for Mandalay, and I'm proud of it. And not only as a Mandalayan, what can I say more? I'm very proud of it. Monty, of course, Mandalay Monty and Mandalay Miche. They both are my favorite. Miche, I don't feel Yangon has the taste like Mandalay Miche and Monty because they are very traditional, and everyone who visit Mandalay, they ask Mandalay Monty and Mandalay Miche first. For me, Mandalay Sachalam Miche and Mandalay Monty, Toto Monty, Soso Monty, they are the very first items the visitor asks for Mandalay food.
Culture and cuisines always bring people together. Now let's find out what Oliver Isodet has to say.
I think the ASEAN ambassador to Myanmar, O Min Lewin, he always brings it to a point since many years. He say culture and cuisine bring people together. And when people come together, showing and exchanging their culture, loving each other culture, sharing their food and their cuisine. And I think this is the most important of such festivals, to bring different cultures, different faith, different color, different races together to show their lifestyle, exchanging their lifestyle. You no need to adapt, you no need to be taken over. We're exchanging, and we may be taking some influence over time and time, but we're exchanging, and we make interesting that Myanmar people go to Indonesia. We just read the news, more Myanmar people go for tourists to Indonesia. People come from Thailand to Myanmar already, from the all over region. So I think this is all what this ASEAN Food Festival has, exchanging of people, different faith, different race, having no borders, and staying peacefully together and enjoy this world.
That's all the reports we have for today. Now let's see the world on the international landscape. Research has revealed many modern gadgets can be hacked to produce deafening and disorienting sounds. Security researcher Matt Wixie found a range of devices had little protection to stop themselves being turned into offensive low-grade cyber weapons. Mr. Wixie tested laptops, mobile phones, headphones, a PA system, and several types of speakers. He said the weaknesses could cause physical harm, harass individuals, or disrupt larger organizations. Testing was done in a soundproof room, and no humans were involved during the series of experiments. Mr. Wixie has been in contact with manufacturers to help them develop defenses that can act if a device is being made to produce dangerous sounds. The research was detailed during a talk at the DEF CON Hacker Conference in Las Vegas on Sunday. In other news, Huawei has announced it is developing a new operating system called Harmony OS. There had been speculation that Huawei was planning to replace the Android operating system, which power its smartphones and tablets. In May, Google suspended the company's Android license after the US government put Huawei on a trade blacklist. However, Huawei said Harmony OS would first be used in devices such as smart speakers and watches, rather than replacing Android in its phones. Huawei's Richard Yu, who announced the project at the Huawei Developer Conference in Dongguan, China, said Harmony OS is completely different from Android and iOS. He said the operating system would let developers create one version of their apps and then flexibly deploy them across a range of different devices. Graphics displayed during his presentation did include depictions of smartphones as well as watches, cars, and televisions. A majority of smartphones around the world run on some form of the Android operating system, so being cut off from the ecosystem could make Huawei's phones less appealing. Well, that's a wrap on Myanmar Today. You can now watch the program on MITV every evening, Monday to Friday at 8:30. You can also join me on MI Radio from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., 1 to 1:30 p.m., and from 7:30 to 8 in the evening. Don't forget to drop your comments and messages on our Facebook post. We'll be back with more news and reports. Thank you for joining us. I am Henry Zin. Oh, and stay dry and stay warm because it's been raining a lot these days. Have a great day, everyone.